You have to switch this song.
It's autoplay, you know, so let him know.
You have to switch this one. We're real Sixers. We're real Sixers. They're real six side. We don't listen to that.
At Abel, we had our run. To this day, I'm always excited, always super happy for all those guys. And I never had any resentment towards oh, you didn't stay on OVO. That was never really I'm not gonna say there weren't people that didn't feel a way about it, but that was never my
Hang on. People are buzzing about what allegedly went down between these two major stars, and everyone's dying to hear how it all really happened according to those who were there. There's word from a source close to the team that someone called him a genius who might roll in during the afternoon then leave way late, supposedly creating new material on the spot. They're saying he would wander around, play a track again and again, then weave that signature star boy sound into his verse. He implied that they all once had a good run, and he's still thrilled to see them shine, though folks claim there were some in their circle who felt slighted because he chose not to stay with OVO. Actually, people are suggesting there was talk about switching a certain track on the playlist. They're saying the real ones from the Six are not into anything else. And rumors are swirling that someone might have fed Kendrick all sorts of details behind the scenes, so it's possible the Owls had to make a big move. An expert familiar with the situation says it reminds them of a Goodfellas-style story, with hints that there are other angles people could explore if they really wanted to go further down that rabbit hole. They also suggest that labeling it as a Drake versus Kendrick thing might be too simplistic, and folks keep implying someone got shot in the back rather than the front. Evidence is starting to point to The Weeknd being the latest artist who may have exposed Drake for acting like a fake friend, and sources claim he's letting it spill how Drake tried to sabotage his career out of sheer envy. Fresh off his new album, Hurry Up Tomorrow, fans are buzzing about a certain track that apparently takes major swipes at Drake. And with so many rumors that Drake tried to undermine The Weeknd's entire path by grabbing half of his songs, Abel might be hinting that he dodged a huge problem by never signing with OVO. Observers have noted that it's not the first time someone has cast Drake as insincere, and plenty in the industry have been saying for ages that Drake can't truly be happy for anyone else's success. They're saying he'll lend a hand, but only so he can hold it over your head. So what exactly happened between Abel and Drake, and who really betrayed whom? A source close to Abel claims he hinted at Drake's actions in this new album, and people want to know if that was a direct call-out. Let's get into it. According to someone who was there, Abel puts heart and soul into his craft, just like Kendrick does, and the track they worked on together felt special. Now, The Weeknd has dropped Hurry Up Tomorrow, and fans are already pointing to possible jabs at Drake in a track called I Can't Wait to Get There, where Abel sings about enemies who dislike that he can't be controlled. Observers note lines about Scary could refer to Drake's Scary Hours EP, plus the idea of dropping out of high school might be a subtle nod to Drake never finishing school. The mention of chilling with academics could be aimed at DJ Academics, who people say is basically Drake's loudest cheerleader. Even if the shade isn't deliberate, watchers think Abel had to guess how it would look, but this isn't the first time he's made cracks in Drake's direction, according to insiders. In 2024, Abel joined others in an industry-wide tension with Drake and hopped on Future and Metro's All to Myself, where he allegedly sang about how certain folks can't diss his people when there are leaks in the system. He implied he's grateful he never locked himself into a deal. Some suspect it's about how he avoided signing with OVO, and that Drake might still be irritated about it. But things got extra wild in May 2024 after a shooting happened outside Drake's place in Toronto, with a member of Drake's security team reportedly getting hurt. Aerial footage aired, and speculation began about whether this tied into beef with Kendrick, since it happened not long after Kendrick put out Not Like Us. Then chatter popped up that the shooting might link to the ongoing friction between Drake's OVO camp and The Weeknd's XO group. One reason is that days earlier, 3 suspects fled a scene after a security guard was shot outside a mansion in Encino owned by Cash XO, co-manager of The Weeknd. So some fans started seeing a pattern. An insider who follows both camps claims that a line in All to Myself about shooters making TikToks while the crew laughs could be a jab at OVO affiliate Baka Not Nice, and that EXO finds the whole thing amusing. But how did Abel and Drake even land in such a bad place after being friends? People close to the situation say it goes back to the early 2010s when The Weeknd passed on signing with OVO in favor of Republic Records, snagging an EXO imprint. He implied that Drake always felt Abel owed him for that big career boost, since Drake first promoted Abel in October 2010 on his October's very own blog, even quoting lyrics from Wicked Games. They worked together on The Zone, which quickly became a classic, and Abel heavily contributed to Drake's Take Care album. Someone near Drake implied to MTV News at the time that The Weeknd was basically collaborating on 4 songs, and Drake seemed to believe they shared a similar emotional vibe, being from Toronto. By late 2011, The Weeknd was already huge, dropping 3 vital mixtapes, House of Balloons, Thursday, and Echoes of Silence. According to those who witnessed it, Drake was eager to sign him, and in May 2012, Drake was telling reporters a deal was basically done on paper. Then The Weeknd surprised everyone by going with Republic in September 2012 and forming EXO Records on his own. People close to Drake say he couldn't let it go. Some recall Drake posting on social media something along the lines of "You can't just thank me and walk away," that Abel owed him a solid. Still, the tension appeared to cool for a bit, and by summer 2024, they were collaborating again on The Weeknd's track Live 4. Drake even brought him on the European leg of his Would You Like a Tour. But in October 2015, The Weeknd told Rolling Stone that he'd handed Drake almost half of his album when Drake needed material. He implied he was still grateful for Drake's support and that everything happens for a reason, though the subtext suggested he recognized how big a role he had played. By February 2017, they were photographed hanging out, with Drake inviting Abel on stage in Germany. Then in May 2017, The Weeknd brought Drake out at his show in Toronto to perform Crew Love for the first time in forever, which had fans thinking things were cool again. Drake even teased about an OVO-EXO project, but watchers say Drake's old animosity resurfaced as The Weeknd's fame kept skyrocketing. Drake allegedly made a move on Abel's ex, Bella Hadid, in October 2017 by throwing her a big party. Then Drake began minimizing The Weeknd's songwriting contributions to Take Care, allegedly telling a fan that Abel only co-wrote a couple songs plus a feature or 2. The Weeknd, folks claim, didn't like Drake downplaying how much he'd contributed, so it made sense that their relationship grew frosty again. In January 2019, The Weeknd appeared to poke Drake in Lost in the Fire, referencing how he'd never hide a child. People read it as a dig at Drake's secret son, Adonis. Then in 2024, Abel seemed to side with Kendrick in that big wave of artists calling out Drake, and fans say Drake was clearly annoyed. During a live stream with XQC, Drake had an over-the-top reaction when The Weeknd Star Boy started playing, basically telling XQC to cut it off, and implying Abel doesn't represent Toronto. They're saying that after all that's gone down, a reconciliation might be impossible. Drake allegedly still feels Abel owes him, while Abel seems convinced Drake is a false pal who only supports you if you're not overshadowing him. What do you all think? Do you suspect Drake can't stand Abel's success? Do you see these two patching it up anytime soon, or is the damage too deep now? Let me just tell you, this topic is hotter than ever, so add your thoughts below. And if you want more behind-the-scenes stories, comment, share this with your friends, and subscribe for all the latest updates.